I had a gun pointed at me in my own driveway, all because of a lie. A lie told by a woman who thought her HOA title gave her the right to decide who belonged in this neighborhood and who didn't. The cops believed her for a second until the truth started to crawl out piece by piece like oil seeping from a cracked engine block. My name's Quincy Borden. I'm a mechanic, 38 years old, black, quiet type. I'd moved into Meadowbrook Hills about a year ago, a nice little community where lawns looked cloned and the mailboxes all stood in military rows. Folks smiled, waved, but never really looked you in the eye. Still, I figured good place to settle down. Then came the Oldsmobile, a 1972 Sea Mist Turquoise Cutlass Supreme. I bought it at a DMV auction, a mess of rust and nostalgia, the same model my grandfather used to drive. I wanted to rebuild it, make it run again, maybe drive it on Sundays. The day I rolled it into my driveway, the paint was flaking the tires half flat, but to me it was beautiful. 3 days later, I was tightening the carburetor when I heard sirens. Blue and red lights reflected off the chrome bumper. 2 officers stepped out, hands near their holsters, and behind them stood Judith Vance, HOA president, 50-something hair, sprayed into a helmet, the kind of woman who believed she ran not just the HOA, but the state of Virginia. She pointed at me like I was roadkill. "That's my son's car," she said. "He told me it was stolen. That man took it." I laughed nervously, stupidly. "Ma'am, I bought this car at a public auction. I have the paperwork inside." One cop looked at the other. Judith folded her arms. "You people always have paperwork." The words hit harder than I wanted to admit. I handed over the title registration bill of sale. They checked the VIN. 10 minutes later, one officer nodded to me. "You're good, sir." Judith's smile didn't even twitch. "This isn't over," she said. And she was right, it wasn't. The next morning, an email from the HOA vehicle does not meet community aesthetic standards. Must be removed within 48 hours. Signed, J. Vance. I replied, politely attached photos of the restoration plan. I thought reason might work. It didn't. That afternoon, a post appeared on the community Facebook group. Unregistered vehicle spotted near 14th Court. Possible stolen property. My address blurred in the background, but not enough. Neighbors stopped waving. Kids turned away. I was suddenly that guy. I told myself to let it go. Keep my head down, finish the car. But then came another letter, $500 fine. Then another. Then a warning about legal action. I sat at my kitchen table that night, bills spread out, laptop glowing, and for the first time I wondered if maybe I really didn't belong here. Maybe I'd made a mistake. Maybe she was right. People like me didn't fit in places like Meadowbrook Hills. I even looked up moving costs. But then I saw the old wrench on the counter. My grandfather's wrench, heavy scarred steel. He used to say, "If something's worth keeping fix, it don't run from it." That night I decided I wasn't moving. I was going to fix this. I started documenting everything. Every email, every text, every fine. I set up my door camera to face the street. Sure enough, Judith came by 3 times in 1 week, taking photos of the car, my yard, even the mailbox. One evening, when she saw me watching, she smiled and said, "Just protecting our neighborhood." A friend of mine, Jake Miller, retired engineer, lives 2 doors down, pulled me aside one morning. "She's done this before," he whispered. "Last year she harassed the Nguyen's till they sold their house, said their fence was too tall." I nodded. "Not this time." I called an attorney, Palmer Driscoll. Young, sharp, the kind of guy who says sir but means business. He told me, "Don't fight her on Facebook. Collect evidence. Stay calm. HOA rules only work if they follow procedure. We'll catch her when she breaks it." So I waited, and she did. A week later, the HOA claimed they'd inspected my property and voted unanimously to fine me again. But I knew that meeting hadn't happened. I'd checked the schedule. Palmer requested the minutes from the HOA board. 2 days later, an anonymous envelope arrived in my mailbox, no return address. Inside was the real meeting transcript signed by the secretary showing that no vote had taken place. Judith had faked it. I sat there staring at the paper, feeling the engine of anger rev inside me. She wasn't just harassing me, she was forging official documents. We sent copies to the county housing department. They looped in the district attorney. And then get this, Judith's own son Elliot emailed them saying he hadn't owned that Oldsmobile for nearly a decade. He'd junked it after college, which meant Judith had lied to the police too. When the subpoena came down, it was like thunder rolling over the HOA clubhouse. They tried to keep it quiet, but gossip spreads faster than wildfire in suburbia. By the next meeting, half the neighborhood showed up. I walked in with Palmer holding a folder thick enough to choke a shredder. Judith sat at the head of the long table, pearls tight around her neck. She still smiled, tight, brittle. "Mr. Borden," she said sweetly, "you've brought a lawyer." "This isn't court, dear." Palmer smiled back. "It might be soon." He laid the documents out, forged meeting minutes. The email from her son, the DMV title, timestamps from my door camera showing her taking photos at night. He even had printouts of her Facebook posts accusing me of theft. The room went silent. You could hear the air conditioner hum. One of the board members finally cleared his throat. "Judith, is this true?" She tried to laugh it off. "I was only protecting our standards." Palmer pointed to the last page. "You filed a false report to law enforcement. That's a felony." Her face lost color. "You can't prove intent." "Actually," Palmer said, flipping the page, "this email from you to the HOA treasurer says, quote, 'If we hit him with enough fines, he'll move out,' end quote." Someone gasped. I think it was Jake. The vote to remove her as president passed 6-1. She didn't even stay to hear it, just grabbed her purse and stormed out, heels clicking like gunfire across the tile. 2 months later, the county filed charges, false police report, harassment, tampering with records. The day of the hearing, I showed up in a clean shirt and jeans. Judith came in wearing sunglasses in fury. When the judge asked why she'd lied, she said I was trying to protect my neighborhood. The judge didn't blink. "From what, Mrs. Vance?" "A man fixing his car." Silence. Judith was fined $15,000, ordered to perform community service, and barred from serving on any HOA board for 5 years. When the gavel fell, I didn't cheer. I just exhaled, like finally releasing a breath I'd been holding for months. Walking out of that courthouse, I saw the reflection of my Oldsmobile parked at the curb. Fresh paint, new chrome engine purring like a satisfied cat. For the first time in a long while, it felt like home again. People sometimes ask if I forgave her. I don't think forgiveness is the point. The point is proof. The point is standing firm even when everyone else looks away. Because in places like Meadowbrook Hills, power hides behind polite smiles and printed bylaws, and the only way to break it is to keep your receipts. Truth doesn't need to shout, it just needs to stand its ground.